Hi, and welcome to the second part of the AI chatbot series. In the first video, you already learned the basics about AI chatbots in SuperChat. You know how it can support your business and how the chatbot interacts with your customers. In this video, we'll build a simple chatbot together and go through all the steps in SuperChat. We'll start by gathering the knowledge to train the chatbot and defining its role. Then we'll set up the automation that activates the chatbot, and in the end, I'll show you the chatbot in action. So let's get started with the first part. How do we define the chatbot's role? To do this, click on AI chatbot in the SuperChat settings menu on the left. You can then create your first chatbot by clicking the button in the top right. First, you'll need to give it a name. I call mine Steve. Now, of course, the question is, what role will Steve take on? How should he behave and what further instructions should he follow? We can define all of that here in the text field. You'll see some example prompts below. These are the instructions you give to the AI chatbot, and you see them for different use cases. Feel free to draw inspiration from them, but always keep in mind the guiding principle. The more detailed you are in your description, the more accurate the chatbot's responses will be in the conversations. So, take your time with this step. You can also use other generative AI to help create this prompt. For example, I use ChatGPT to create a prompt. In this case, my AI will be a travel advisor who gives destination recommendations based on the preferences of potential customers. There are clear instructions on how to start the conversation, how the chatbot gathers the necessary information, and how it should behave in its role. You could, for example, specify that the chatbot should use lots of emojis, or that the responses shouldn't be too long because the conversation is happening on WhatsApp, and the length should be suited to the medium. I'm curious to see how creative you'll get with this. And even if it seems a bit challenging at first, stick with it. Practice makes perfect. So, our imaginary employee now knows the role they should fill. The only question left is how they'll acquire the knowledge they need for this role. On one hand, they can access knowledge from the internet. In the case of a travel advisor, this is already very valuable because there are lots of great tips available for all sorts of preference. But what if we offer very specific tours and have our own travel blog that specializes in exactly that? Naturally, we want to provide this information to potential customers first and foremost. In the next step, we can upload various documents in different text formats. Simply gather the information from all your internal sources. If you already have a knowledge base, that's perfect for this. We will soon offer the option to provide your website here, and SuperChat will pull all the information directly from it. However, it might still be helpful to upload additional files. The chatbot is now briefly trained and will be ready for testing in just a few seconds. The pop-up that might appear will remind us that after testing, we can make the chatbot available to our customers through an automation. Here on the right, you'll see an input field where you can communicate with your chatbot. This allows you to check if the chatbot is guiding the conversation as envisioned. I'm going to write here that I'm planning my summer vacation, but I'm a bit clueless about where to go and would like to have some tips. As you can see, although I wrote in English, the AI responded in German. That needs to be changed. Also, I'm not 100% satisfied with the results. I want the AI to respond more with suggestions and not to ask so many questions. So, I go back into the prompt and make the necessary adjustments. So, here's my updated prompt. I can adjust it directly here on the left in the input field, click save at the bottom, and in just a few seconds the chatbot will be updated. Let's see how it responds to my request now. I'm actually very satisfied with this response. The chatbot gives me great tips and even directs me to the desired website. Another way to refine the chatbot's responses is to adjust the data used to generate its knowledge. So, for example, if I don't like the answer to a specific question, I can add that question along with the correct answer to the FAQ and upload it again. But in this case, everything fits, so we can move on to the next step and make the chatbot accessible to potential customers. To do this, we can click the link in the info box below or open the automation page ourselves. Here we'll create a new automation. First, we'll add a trigger. Since the chatbot works across all communication channels, we'll select the contact sends message trigger under Omnichannel. Next, we'll define the keyword in the message content node that will initiate the conversation with the chatbot. In my case, this would be something like travel advice. And now comes the magic. When the contact sends the trigger word, we'll build an AI chatbot node and then choose the chatbot we just created from the list. In the node, we now have more settings options. We can ignore the free text field for now. We'll deal with that in the third video. Below, we see an input for the time period after which the conversation will expire if the contact doesn't reply. Let's leave it at 12 hours for now. What's important is the setting below, which ensures that the conversation is handed over to a human staff member if the contact request is set. Let's activate it, and we'll see that a new option appears below in the node. From there, we'll add a send message node, where we'll inform the contact that a human staff member is taken over now. We'll also assign the conversation to an available person. If the contact doesn't respond for 12 hours, we'll end the AI flow and mark the conversation as completed. Perfect. Now let's give the automation a name, so it's easier to identify, and then we can publish it. Let's check out how it looks on WhatsApp. Awesome, right? Honestly, I'm always fascinated by how well this works. I'm going to have Steven plan my next vacation right away. In the meantime, you can start experimenting with your first chatbots. Or you can jump straight into the third video in the series and gather some more inspiration. In that video, we'll go through some exciting examples together. So, I wish you lots of fun and see you very soon.